I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Callie, and we're here to introduce to you our Case 2 lesson plan for our EDCI 270 course on technology and education. So we're going to introduce to you our lesson and go through our process of using a smartboard as our Web 2.0 application.
We targeted 9th grade students in the College Mentors for Kids, and we're teaching them the quadratic formula as part of the STEM routine.
Okay, so for our overview, we said the purpose of this lesson is for students to learn the basic method of how to solve the quadratic equation or FOIL. We will integrate a smartboard into the lesson and a fun activity to hopefully help the students understand and enjoy the lesson.
And part of our objectives is given a lesson on the quadratic equation, students will become proficient in the quadratic equation and be able to apply the FOIL method in order to solve the quadratic equation with 100% accuracy.
Alright, so now we're going to go through the procedures, and we've actually created a PowerPoint lesson plan on FOIL.
Which was the first thing on the procedure.
So we're just going to go through. So I'm going to use a pen now to show you what FOIL is. FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, and last. And so this is first, outer, inner, and last. Alright, so here is an example of what a sample problem would be for FOIL. So it shows you what you multiply together for each one to get the quadratic formula. So here we multiplied a times a, which is right here, a times 2, a times 3, and 3 times 2. And then we write it out after multiplying and then simplify it. And then every single time it'll equal 0. And then here's another sample problem we did, except we changed the problem so it has addition and subtraction, which will change the format of the problem. So then we multiplied b times b again, b times 4, but since there's this negative sign right here, we add a negative sign here instead of a plus sign. And then for this one, it'll be plus 5b, and this one will be minus 20 because plus 5 times negative 4 is
a negative number.
And then this is the general equation for our formula. So a can be any number or 1, so there can be like no number in front of it. B can be any number, and C can be any number, positive or negative. And then our other part of FOIL is to find numbers when added together to give B, but when multiplied give you C. So this is working your way backwards from FOIL. So you're trying to figure out what is in the parentheses. Alright, so here's just like a sample of what we would do. You would write the parentheses out and make it equal to 0. And for this problem, you know that x times x would give you x squared, so you write that out. And since both of the signs in the equation are plus, then we know that both of them will be plus signs. And then we just have to find out which numbers, when multiplied together, add up to equal 14.
Which happened to be 7.
And then you set both of those equal to 0.
What is in the parentheses equal to 0?
So then you set each parentheses equal to 0, so then x plus 7 equals 0, and x will equal negative 7 when you subtract it. Alright, so here is
just another practice
problem. It's just more complicated, and you start off with a number in front instead of just a plain variable. And so here is a practice problem we can do.
And we set it so the teacher will, the teacher will have, since she taught the students the lesson, the teacher will come up and the students they're supposed to walk her through the first problem to show her how to do it. And then there'll be a second practice problem as well, where we'll call on a student to come answer the problem, and if they're struggling with the problem, the class can also walk them through the problem as well. hopefully that'll help just to reinforce and teach the FOIL method and try to make it fun and involve the classroom and kind of help them use the smartboard as well. That was just another problem.
Same problem, and then here would be a more complicated one. And then here is the method
Backwards.
of doing it backwards. So, right, so this one would be x, and this one would be x, and then it'll be minus 6 plus 3, because 6 times 3 equals 18, but if you have negative 6 and plus 3, that'll give you negative 3. So then x minus 6 equals 0, and x plus 3 equals 0. So then x equals 6, and x equals negative 3. Okay.
And then we're going to go back into our lesson plan. Oh shoot, no, that was not it. And as part of the procedure after that, after everyone's returned to the seat for their activity, we are doing FOIL bingo, which as you see is the bingo sheet here, and the students will have 10 to 15 minutes just to solve all the equations. And this is not like the standard bingo card, because as bingo you have to have the problems all mixed up. So we'll have 10 minutes to solve it, and then we'll spend 10 minutes playing the game. And the first student to receive bingo will come up, actually any student to receive bingo, will come up to the board and they'll pick the most complicated problem that they thought, and they'll go and create a new page, and they can explain it to the class and how they solved the problem. Just again, bring them up to the board and give them an opportunity to explain the class, and some students learn best through their peers. So, and then if any student gets a second bingo, they'll come up and, after they finish the first problem and they explain the first problem correctly, they'll get a candy bar, and then for the second time, they'll receive extra credit.
Okay, and then for evaluation, or assessment, we're going to evaluate how the students learn the lesson by giving them a 3-question quiz. Each question will be worth 5 points, and there will be different portions to it, so they can receive partial credit for their quiz. And then once students have completed the quiz, they can choose from a small box of prizes as
Reward.
as a reward. All right, thank you so much.